All right, everyone, link in the description. This is a good proposition. This is definitely a good selling point for Donald Trump on economics. He said no taxes on overtime pay. So let's say that you're working 40 hours a week. Under Bidenomics, you probably have had to do one of several things, assuming that you're not making a really high income or not paying any taxes at all. You've taken out a gig position or a second part-time job, or you've extended your hours, or you've taken out credit card debt. Unfortunately, there are a number of people that have done so. Millions of people, actually, because of Bidenomics. Of course, Bidenflation really hits hard, and it's really messy. They can pretend that the economy is stabilizing, but I think that the average American knows better. If you are, though, taking out overtime pay, Trump wants to effectively eliminate the taxes that you would normally pay on that. So let's, again, you've got a 40-hour week, you get a normal job. You decided to take out an extra day and say, you know, fuck it, I'm going to get an extra 8 hours in. I'm making at least a reasonably decent salary. So you're in the middle class, probably, or somewhere thereabouts, working class. And you won't have to pay taxes on it. Well, that's going to stimulate the economy bigly. What this will do is, number one, incentivize people to work overtime. So instead of taking out the credit card debt, getting the second job or something, they're more likely to simply add more hours to their job, assuming that they're able to do that. It's not necessarily a guarantee that they can. Number two, it's going to stimulate the economy because then they have more purchasing power. So they'll be able to go to the store and they'll be like, I was, just eating Campbell's soup, basically. I'm allowed to buy a ribeye tonight. This is exactly what we want. Why do I get the feeling that Kamala Harris is going to copy the homework again and come out with the exact same proposal, a couple days from now? Because it'll be a popular opinion. This idea will be popular. He got a standing ovation, by the way, when he announced this. Kamala Harris will probably try to make it her own and say, well, I support, overtime workers. If a worker is working more than 40 hours a week, they shouldn't have to pay any taxes on it. I have a sneaking suspicion that there's like a 90% chance that she decides to come out and do that because it's such a popular idea. And it makes sense that it would be popular because we've got a lagging economy. We've got people that are literally taking out credit cards to buy groceries right now. Supposedly, according to ABC, CNN, etc., and certainly MSNBC, the economy's strong right now. It's roaring ahead. Everything's going fine. Well, yeah. If you make $250,000 a year, then probably you don't feel the impact of having to pump your own gas. You have your chauffeur do it instead. Well, then, yeah, you're a little bit sheltered from these things now, necessarily. No taxes on overtime pay is a good idea. Any time that a tax can be reduced, any time that a regulation can be removed, is a good time. And I think that I speak for every classical liberal out there when I say such. Trump is not perfect on economic issues. Let's make this clear. He's not like a hyper-libertarian or something like that. He's not even a classical liberal. But he has a better business sense than the current administration could ever have, of which Kamala Harris happens to be part of. And looking at the things that she has said, and she says as little as possible, she would just bankrupt the economy. Basically, the United States would just become a socialist wreck. Donald Trump, meanwhile, wants to do a soft reset back to about 1982 or thereabouts. That's better. It's not terribly better, but it's better than the alternative. That's the truth of it. The economy would actually work. It wouldn't be so malfunctional as it is currently. And better is better than worse, basically. To use a Kamala term, by the way, actually. No taxes on overtime pay, I think, will be a popular idea, and so I can't imagine it won't be stolen. I can't imagine the Kamala Harris campaign is going to look at that particular clip and say, well, we want to avoid this issue. Now, we're the party of overtime pay taxes. I don't think that she wants to do that. I don't think that that would be very popular. Just saying. I think that they'll definitely try to steal that one. Trump, economically speaking, is very, very good. I've had my qualms with him. There are some suggestions that he's made that I didn't agree with, like the CIA black sites. That was like 2 days after the fucking 2016 election. The bombing of the Syrian air base or something like that. I didn't agree with that either, out of principle, not out of pragmatism. But on economic issues, he's a 9 out of 10 fucking guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to balance a checkbook. He knows how to conduct business. He knows how to conduct meaningful diplomacy because he's actually conducted business in Eastern Asian countries. On all of these things, he is light years ahead of Kamala Harris. There are some things that he's done that I disagree with. But by God, on economics, I can't really find anything to gripe about. He saved me shit tons of money. Again, as an independent content creator, the self-employment tax offset was really a godsend. He saved me a bunch of money. He reigned over an economy that was stable up until the lockdownerist period, which he's not responsible for anyway. And then we've got this other administration that has reigned over significant inflation. We've got all sorts of whack-ass ideas from Kamala Harris. We had them before from Joe Biden. It's like night and fucking day. There is no comparison between them. A lot of times when we're talking about politics, we talk about like the football team mentality. I talk about this myself. Oh, Republican versus Democrat. Well, they're basically the same. No, they're not the same this time. Donald Trump does not have anywhere near the same ideology as Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is basically the female Al Gore, or the female John Kerry, or the female George W. Bush. Donald Trump is a different animal. Is he perfect? Fuck no. Is he even great? Arguably, but maybe not necessarily. Did he do a good job as president? Will he probably do a good job in a second term? Yes. And so he's the person that I'm going to be voting for, because the alternative is basically World War III and or economic collapse. These two things are not the same. Okay, one person does a reasonable job, flawed, yes, admittedly. Sometimes makes mistakes, especially hiring mistakes. The other person is fucking psycho. These two things are not the same. It's not the same kind of election that we've seen generally in the past. Like even with 2020. Did Joe Biden worry me because I knew that he was demented? Yeah. Did I think that he was necessarily going to start World War III or collapse the economy? No. I expected an economic downturn. That happened. I expected wars to break out. That happened. But we don't have World War III. We don't have a Great Depression sort of situation. He's demented, but it's not the same as Kamala Harris. She genuinely scares me. I'm literally fucking terrified of the idea of her being in office. Wouldn't you be? Yeah, well, you want your sons and daughters to go off and die and shit like that. You want to be eating nothing but turnips. I like turnips as much as the next person, but I don't want to have turnip soup for dinner every single night because it's the only thing that I can afford to grow. And that's basically what Kamala Harris would probably do. It's not the same election, and people need to start treating it as though it's a different election as well, because it really is. It is more meaningful than what we've seen in the past. 2016 is the only doppelganger. Hillary Clinton would have started World War III as well. She genuinely terrified me also. I was very glad that Donald Trump defeated her. Biden gave me bad vibes in general, but I didn't think, hey, he's going to absolutely collapse the system and we're all going to die. It's more like, hey, other handlers are going to put his shoes on for him, feed him his fucking brand muffin, and things will be fine, generally speaking, because he's not even going to be in control anyway, so it doesn't really matter. With Kamala, she's young and hip enough so that she can basically do whatever she wants to do. And unfortunately, the things that she wants to do are generally very, very negative. With Donald Trump, you have good times. With Kamala Harris, I think that you have bad times. The idea of not taxing overtime pay is something that I can't imagine that her administration is not going to steal as an idea. What they'll do is Kamala will come out tomorrow on TV, or maybe even today, and she'll say, well, I think that there shouldn't be any taxes on overtime pay. And she'll pretend that she was the one that originated the idea. This is likely. That's very unfortunate for our political reality. That's about all. Peace out.